You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. You know, it seems like we can get barely the words out. Do ya wanna go? And most dogs are leaping in the air, they're fetching their leashes, and they're hustling us into our vehicles for the coveted road trip. Well, our special guest today is about to embark, I said embark, on a most memorable road trip on one of America's most historic routes. Get ready to get behind the wheel to kick off the 8th annual Get Your Licks on Route 66 Pet Adoption Tour. And that is being at the helm, the publisher of Fido Friendly and our good friend. Please give pause and applause to the one, the only, Susan Sims. Hey, welcome to the show, Susan.
Oh my gosh, what a grand intro. Hi, how are you?
We're doing great, Susan. And we know that you and your husband Greg and your cool canines, Junior and Jake, you're going to officially log the first mile of this pet adoption tour. What is it, September 9th? Is that the date?
Yep, September 9th. We're going to be at the Riverside Animal Shelter on Van Buren in Riverside. And folks can go to FidoFriendly.com and look for the tour badge, and it lists all the events and dates. And if they're in the neck of the woods, they can join us for a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, folks, they are going on Route 66. They're going to help various pet groups, and their final destination will be in Marion, Kansas. Now, we're going to learn what's on the road ahead of them and how they've helped. Believe it or not, are you ready for this, listeners? They have already helped in the previous Get Your Licks on Route 66 tours. They have found homes for more than 5,000 pets. That is a big, big achievement. So we're going to find out more about the adventures ahead and what's happened in the past, but we got to pay for the show. So everybody get in the park position, idle those engines, cuddle your pet. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now, I just completed a 2-day, 1,400-mile drive from Dallas to San Diego. I'm here to do a bunch of pet behavior and pet first aid talks and presentations. And joining me were my 2 dogs, Kona and Cleo, and my well-traveled orange tabby, Casey. Now, I am very lucky because they're very good travel mates. You know, never once did they bark out, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Or even meowed, "Hey, it's my turn to pick the radio station." So I felt very, very lucky. Now, imagine, though, traveling down America's favorite highway, the historic Route 66, for a great cause, and that's to find forever homes for shelter pets. That is the quest awaiting our special guest today. Now, folks, Susan Sims is the publisher of Fido Friendly Magazine. It is the magazine to get your paws on because it's filled with lots of savvy travel, health, and lifestyle tips. And it's all designed to bring out the best in you and your dog. And it's very easy to find, FidoFriendly.com. As for Route 66, I did a little homework, Susan, before having you on. And I found out it opened up in 1926. And it officially stretches 2,448 miles from Chicago to Santa Monica. It's also known as the Will Rogers Highway, the Mother Road, well, that's a funny one, and Main Street of America. Now, Susan, in checking your drive schedule, it looks like you guys are going to be on the road for about 36 days because the tour starts around September 9th and ends around October 16th. I guess that's 37 days. You're going to log well over 2,500 miles. I just have a question before asking if you are sane. Are you ready? Are you ready?
We are rock and roll ready. We, like you, have been blessed with the perfect travel companions, and they are so well-traveled that they don't even blink an eye. The mini hotels that we're staying in, they just yawn and like, what bed do I get?
Well, let's get a little 411 on Junior and Jake. I remember Junior was just a little pup. So tell us a little bit about how the big old grown-up Junior's doing.
Oh, my gosh. I know you've been here for every event that we've done, but we had adopted Junior. He's a black lab, and he's a little different lab because he's not so hyperactive. In fact, in the shelter, he was about 2 months old, and he kind of looked at us, waddled over, smelled us, went back to his bed. And then next door, there was a crazy lab about 6 months old, the normal lab, and he was jumping off the walls, and we went...
That's not hard.
And he was the first official spokes dog for the tour. He went on the very first one that we did, and we actually flew him to Los Angeles, and we'd never flown a dog, and we were so freaked out. And he just came out of the crate wagging his tail like, what's up? And so he's been a road warrior ever since. And then 5 years ago, we adopted Jake, who's a boxer, and he had no problem fitting in, and he wasn't fond of the crate, and we do crate the dogs when we travel, and that was a little getting used to, but we like to share that with our readers of Fido Friendly Magazine, that it really is just, one, you have to be lucky that you have a dog that can travel with you and not be seasick, right? And he got used to the crate, and one of the things that helps is when we're on the tour, the dogs go to daycare. So just so everyone knows, we have 15 events, and they couldn't possibly hang out because a lot of these events were there for 4 or 6 hours. So they go to daycare, and they get to have fun. And when we pick them up, they're so tired, they could care less. They get in their crates and sleep.
That is a win-win. Good pet parenting tip. There you go. Get them all, get their jollies out and all that. I think it's really smart. Crate is great with Kona and Cleo. Cleo is a retired surf dog. She's almost 15. She's 12 pounds soaking wet. And Kona is my new rough-coated Jack Russell. Like you, Susan, I actually got a Jack Russell mix that's quiet. I call her my...
Just wild. Yeah.
I know. I call her my smart wuss. Anyway, so they are on harnesses with the little seatbelt attachment and on a nice bed. And the cat, of course, is in the carrier because I really don't want pet safety cat Casey walking around on my, dashboard or, fixing my mirror when I'm driving. So, I think it's very important to tether or crate our pets. We love them. And please, folks, do not put them in the passenger seat because that airbag goes off and there's a lot of things you don't want to happen. And they're too damn cute and they're distractive, right, Susan?
Exactly.
So what kind of vehicle? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know what? I was going to say we learned a lesson with the two dogs before that. We had a van, and we thought we were being smart by taking the center seats out, but they still wanted to sit in your lap, and they were huge dogs. So we've been really fortunate. Sprinter Rentals provides us with a Mercedes Sprinter, and it's perfect because we have to haul a lot of stuff. We have a giant spinning wheel that we bring to the events to raise money, and we have a lot of sponsored products. And so that vehicle is perfect for this trip because the crates go in, we can pack things around them, and it's great. We can keep an eye on them from the front, and half the time we don't remember we have dogs with us, Arden, because, like I said, they're tired, and we're driving 4 hours to the next event or how long that's going to be. So I've been really fortunate to have Sprinter Rentals provide this vehicle. We couldn't do it without them.
Tell me a little bit more about, is that one of those big, tall ones I'm thinking about? Does it have its own bathroom in it?
It does not. So we get the cargo van. We get the cargo one. So everything is out of it except the front seats, and then we throw all the paraphernalia that we have to bring to each event with us, and works out great.
So if someone is going to be ambitious and take a road trip with their dog, and you are the publisher of Fido Friendly, anything you want to know about folks, about hotels, traveling, everything, health, lifestyle, it's all there. And it's got a nice digital edition on FidoFriendly.com. But what would be a few road savvy travel tips you could give folks? We're not talking about running an errand. We're talking like a long drive with their dog. What would be a few things that you've learned as a road warrior?
Oh, my gosh. Well, like you and I touched upon, I think it's really important that your pets are good travelers, and one of the ways to, facilitate that is just to start them when you get them and start taking short trips. Make sure that it's not just to the vet, that you go to fun places so they can look forward to getting in the car. The other thing we always, stress is identification is key. We believe that pets should be microchipped, but beyond that, I think your identification with the tags that they wear should have your cell phone number on it, because it makes no sense if they get lost and you're not at home and the only number on there is your home. And I think most people put cell phones on anymore, right. But sometimes it just seems some of those things you still have to kind of remind people to do, and you have to take them to potty breaks, and God forbid, they jump out of the car or something, goes wrong, and, off they go. So we always bring their favorite toys, and we bring their beds, and we bring their food, and we bring all the things from home that are going to make it comfortable for them, because if they haven't traveled a lot and they go into a strange hotel, they're going to sniff around and, like, where is everything? And just kind of keep a normal schedule is how we do it, and make sure the potty breaks are frequent, and don't load them up with a lot of food and water before you leave, but obviously have that ready for them. So when you take your break and, go through the drive-thru and get your sandwich, that you have, time for them and take them for walks. And I think one of the funniest stories I have to share, when we first started the magazine, the dogs that we had, they were kind of hooligans, and we were going to a really fancy resort. It was a Fess Parker Doubletree in Santa Barbara. And we were a nervous wreck. We thought, these dogs, what are we going to do when we get into the lobby? And what if they, what's going to happen? But we made sure we took them to the bathroom before we went to check in. And they were perfect. They just sat there like they'd always done it. And we were more nervous than they were. So it was a little lesson, just, chill out. Don't make such a big deal out of it. Just make everything, set them up for success, basically, so that you can be good, responsible pet parents.
Well, yeah, and, you made a good thing about making sure they have IDs. And my dogs and cat, I get their collars, but I haven't embroidered their name and the cell phone, too. So in case the tags drop off, it's easy to read, because, when a dog comes toward you, unless you have, like, Superman vision, it's really hard sometimes to read the fine font to get some of the things right off. But you can actually call the dog, hey, Kona. And the dog's like, how do you know my name? How do you know my name? And so it's good. The other thing I do is when I have the dogs tethered in the back and they have a nice little comfy area, before I untether them, I always put on their leash, on their D-ring, on their harness before I untether, because otherwise, you're right, a dog can get out. But training them the wait, good wait. And they're like, whatever, we know this one. We've done this. Really? You think you just want to hear the sound of your own voice. So, all right. So I like that they have things that smell and their own, and they feel like they're home on the road. And I think that's a really, really good tip on your trip. The first stop, let's talk about it. You're going to be in Riverside on September 9th. What awaits you and all the Fido Friendly fans?
What is so wonderful that when we started this event 8 years ago, we weren't sure what to anticipate. So it was really a fact-finding adventure and a learning experience for everybody. Now, in their 8th annual year, we have several partner shelters that we work with every year, and it kind of runs very smoothly. We have 30 sponsors this year, and they send their product to the shelter. So when we show up at the Riverside Animal Shelter, we will unpack all this product. We have logos on a giant spinning wheel. People come into the shelter, they're looking for animals, and we say, hey, look at all these great products. Here's donate $2, spin the wheel. The proceeds go to the shelter at the end of the day. Now you have people. There's a fun environment besides the idea of adopting a pet. A cat or a dog. We're an equal opportunity adopter. And,
Casey really thinks that's meowvelous. He told me to tell you that. Yeah.
In fact, we have a lot of cats that do get adopted on these tours too. So it's really a lot of fun, and we'll be at the Riverside Shelter from 11 to 3, and then once we're finished with the fundraising, anybody that's adopting that day, we load them up with a goodie bag. Our sponsors are very generous, and so we just think it's wonderful that they take the time and that they're going to be able to give a shelter pet a new forever home. So we want to congratulate them on that, and so we will provide them with a goodie bag and start their lives out on the right foot for their cat or their dog. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds great. We're going to find out more what awaits Susan, her husband Greg, Junior, and Jake after we take this quick commercial break. So stick and idle, folks. We're going to be coming right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Are you having trouble getting the word out about your new pet product or invention? Let Whitegate PR open the gate to your marketing and public relations efforts. We've been specializing in public relations in the pet industry for over a decade. From press releases to media relations and publicity to pet trade shows and launch events to social media, the pet-friendly team at Whitegate PR has you covered. If you listen to the wise words of Bill Gates, he says, "If I had $1 left, I'd spend it on PR." Learn more at whitegatepr.com.
Want to know who the latest trendsetters are in Hollywood? How about Irish setters? Find out who's been spotted with Spot, chowing with their chow, and shopping for Gucci with their Poochie. Get the scoop on all the latest celebrity pet patter right here. Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is Brandon McMillan, the host of Lucky Dog, and I invite you to listen to Oh Behave with Arden Moore on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I am delighted that our guest today is Susan Sims. She is the publisher of Fido Friendly. She must have the patience of Job. She's ready to go consume more than 2,500 miles on Route 66 for a great cause, a marvelous cause. That's to get more homes for wonderful dogs and cats at various shelters. And Susan, I would be remiss if we don't mention your celebrity spokesperson.
Oh, we really have been fortunate that Brandon McMillan, if not a listener, if they're not familiar with Brandon McMillan, he is the Emmy Award-winning TV host of the weekly CBS series Lucky Dog. So Brandon is our spokesperson for the second year, and he will be at the LA event filming for his show, and that is September 10th in Van Nuys. And he's such a wonderful person. Besides being a gentle trainer, the show encompasses a day in the life of rescuing a shelter pet and training them specifically for a family that maybe wants that dog to be able to paddleboard with them or run alongside a bike. Whatever that family's needs are, Brandon will train these dogs specifically. So it's always a good ending story. He's at the shelter, chooses the dog for the family, and after several weeks, the family is united with this dog, and it's a fairy tale ending. So Brandon will be there. He just published a book, and he'll be signing his book and giving, life coaching experiences for these new pet parents, because many haven't had a pet before in their lives. It's an important step. So he'll be there from 10 to 4 at the LA event.
Well, we've had Brandon on our show a couple times. I love him. I love the show Lucky Dog, and he and I tease each other because I now, when I'm training Kona, my new dog, who just got Canine Good Citizen, this is a patented Brandon McMillan voice cue. Good. He has more syllables in that 4-letter word than I think anyone on the planet.
Yeah, he is really wonderful, and we're just really fortunate that we met him. We did an article on him, is how we first met him, and then just asked him if he'd lend his celebrity status to help us promote this, because it's important. We can be on the road for a month doing this, but if people don't know about it, it makes it a lot harder for us to help get these pets adopted. So it's been a really wonderful partnership with him.
He's great, and he does, like you say, he knows his stuff, and he has been helping get big and small dogs all over the country get good homes. So you scored a good one with Brandon. I like him very much.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of the places you're going to go. And I know you talked about one of your sponsors. Without sounding too commercial, you want to give a little salute to a couple others?
Oh, I would be happy to. I don't know if you've heard of Turf Mutt before. And
oh, yeah.
This is really interesting. They came on board this year, and I really like what they do. So they use their dog as a spokes dog, Lucky, and he educates children and their parents basically about the great outdoors and what they have in their own backyard, and what are the safe plants for when you have a pet outside, what type of grass is good for your area. So he came on board, and we're really, really thrilled to have him. And Evercare, which is, they've been sponsors the last several years, they created the first lint roller. And you always think, who are these people that did this?
So that's where my lint went from my belly button. It went to them. Okay, good. Okay. I inspired them.
Sorry. That's just really such a standard product that you would think in everyone's home, especially with pets, but you would be surprised when people spin the wheel and they win these lint rollers. They're so thrilled, like they can't believe that they won this for their $2 donation. So that's another one. But we have things from toys, food, harnesses. We just really have a lot of wonderful product this year.
That sounds good. So we need to talk a little bit about some of the places that you've really helped. Share a couple of stories from the past of special adoptions that just really stay in your forefront.
I have one that always probably tear up talking about, but we were in Missouri, and an older gentleman came in with his kids, and he was totally disheveled, just looked like a wreck. And he had lost his best friend that morning, so... Anyway, we just were beside ourselves. We didn't know how to help this man, but he had seen a dog on the website of the shelter that looked very similar to his pet. And so he had to go and get this dog. I mean, he just couldn't imagine, his life. So that was that was years ago, and it still choked me up, I tell you. That was just tough. And everybody grieves in their own way. So there was no judgment there. You think, gosh, I could never do that. But he left that day with his dog, and you could tell it made it. Ask another question, Arden.
Okay, ask. Well, what's some funny thing? I mean, you got to find poop spots. I mean, seriously. And in some places in this country, you go to a rest stop, as I found on the way to Dallas to San Diego, and there's like little hidden spurs, and you got to watch out for the paws. And so you ever see a dog trying to squat and dance because they got a spur in their paw pad? It's not fun. I mean, let's talk poop on the road. What do you do? I mean, and how do you know when the dog says it's time to pull over?
Well, ours are just, they're little whiners. But, I can't even tell you how many times that we're the ones that make the stop and just tell them it's time to go to the bathroom. And they pretty can go poop on command. And we were somewhere, where they have those Cadillacs on the side of the road?
Yeah.
It's like what do they call it? Cadillac Ranch, and it's like it's an outdoor, supposedly art form, and so they have all these Cadillacs that are stuck in the dirt, standing straight up, if you can visualize that, and people go there and they graffiti these, and for the life of me, I don't know why people would bring their dogs to that, because the graffiti that the dogs are going to do isn't going to be the paint.
No, it's not. Well, and you have to have a sense of humor. You and your husband, Greg, have been married. Happy anniversary. Just had a recent anniversary, right?
Thank you. 32 years. Woohoo!
So how do you handle being in a vehicle with your hubby for miles and miles and miles?
It's called headphones. He does a lot of the driving, and I work on my laptop. I have a air card, and so as long as I can get signal, I just keep working. And so by the time we get to the hotel or where we're going to be, I don't have bazillions of emails because we're still running the magazine at the same time. And the time passes by pretty quickly, believe it or not. I mean, we have mastered the sounds of silence, and it's a good thing because we work together too. So by the time we get on the road, sometimes we just sit in silence, and it's a good thing. But he's wonderful because he schleps all the stuff to the events, and we have a 50-pound spinning wheel. And so this man just takes all his stuff in and he puts it all together. I kind of decorate the tables, and then he redecorates the tables. And so I just let him do it. I just let him do it all, and I'm Vanna White. I just stand next to the wheel.
Well, I think you need to keep him for at least another 32 years. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, if he plays his cards right.
Well, what other things do you want before we bid you adieu? But again, this is going to be kicking off the 8th annual Get Your Licks on Route 66 Pet Adoption Tour. It's brought to you by Fido Friendly, and this is Susan Sims and her husband Greg and Junior and Jake. They're not at the wheel, they're in the crates. But, you meet a lot of people. Where can people follow you on the tour? Because I want to make sure if they're anywhere near you listeners, all 800,000 of you, I want you to pop in and support this great cause. Maybe you might find a new dog or cat in your life. So it's a win-win for everybody. But tell us a little bit more about how people can kind of follow the tour.
Sure, just go to FidoFriendly.com. We have our Get Your Licks on Route 66 badge. And you click on that, it'll go to the tour page, and it lists the 15 events that we'll be at, the time, the date, and location. And even if they're not looking to find a new forever friend, they can come out and donate to support the shelter and win some great prizes for the pets that they may have. And always encourage people to find great daycares for their kids. Like we found so many around the country that have swimming pools. I mean, these are your kids, so you want to take good care of them while you're doing whatever you're doing. So there's no reason why you can't travel with Fido or Fluffy. You just got to make sure that you take care of them so you can have fun at the same time.
That sounds wonderful. I do wish you safe travels, sane travels, and have a blast. I mean, you never know what's going to be ahead the next mile or around the bend, and you seem to have the right travel attitude.
Well, thanks, Arden. We have fun. This is the most fun that we have. We look forward to it every year, and we're physically going to be gone 2 months, but we couldn't have two better travel companions to do this with, and if we can help raise awareness for the plight of shelter pets, it makes it all worthwhile.
All right. It is, again, Get Your Licks on Route 66 Pet Adoption Tour. Get all the details, folks, by going to FidoFriendly.com. I also want to thank Mark Winter. He is the Wizard of Paws. He is the producer of Pet Life Radio, my show, and a zillion others. And he quietly, creatively makes this show and every other's happen. And we're all over the planet, folks. So tune in if you would. Susan, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.